The stories that will be read in this video were submitted by students of the University of Florida. The sisters who are reading the stories are not affiliated with these stories.
I had known him for a few weeks. We got along well and he seemed to always be very respectful. He invited a friend and me to go see his new place, saying there was going to be a housewarming barbecue. We went and the four of us, me, him, my friend, and his friend, had great conversation and an overall nice time. When it got a bit late, my friend mentioned she had to work in the next morning. I went to use the bathroom and walking over, he offered to drive me home if I wanted to stay a bit longer. I said yes, thinking only my friend would leave and the three of us would stay talking. When I came out of the bathroom, I saw that my friend and his friend were both getting up to leave. I didn't know they agreed that my friend would drop his friend off, leaving us alone. He had been respectful to that point, so I didn't want to seem dramatic and make a scene by asking to leave with all of them after I agreed I would stay.
Our friends left and we were alone. We walked back to his house and almost immediately he started getting touchy. We had previously been intimate, but never to the extent of intercourse. It was okay with whatever we had done previously, so I went along with it, thinking that was all we would do. When things got heavier, he asked me if he could put it inside of me. I immediately said no, as I was a virgin and still not comfortable enough to change that. He asked again after a few moments, and I felt an increase in pressure physically and mentally. I still said no, growing more and more uncomfortable with the whole situation. As he kept asking and I kept saying no, he forced his way in. I was trying to get out from under him, but he had me essentially pinned down like an upside-down cockroach. I couldn't escape and he kept going. At this point, I was telling him no, louder and louder, asking him to stop, saying that it hurt and that I wasn't ready for this. He chose to ignore me and kept going. I was screaming no and he still kept going. After a certain point, I remember looking at the ceiling, thinking that the sooner this was over, the sooner I could go home. I gave up. He wasn't going to listen until he had gotten his. I mentally detached myself and waited for it to end.
He took me home and I showered. I cried in the shower. The next morning, I told my sister that I had had sex, but did not want to. I tried not to use rape, as it was a very heavy word, and I thought he had been a friend. I was in denial for months. It wasn't until the Rock Turner case that I saw a counselor at the CWC and spoke about it. I refused to report, thinking that it was too much of a fuss. I didn't want my parents to find out, and oddly enough, I felt bad for him. Now, after a year and a half, over certain circumstances, my parents found out. We reported right away to GPD and the Dean of Student Office. I have an amazing victims advocate that has helped with the whole process. I was lucky to get support from my family, despite having it be incredibly frustrating feeling as though GPD is not doing anything with my case due to the lack of evidence. I did not get a rape kit. I still think that reporting and telling my story over and over has helped me heal from it. I still get anxiety attacks when I feel I am in a vulnerable situation. I'm always alert when I go out, and I don't trust easily like I used to. There are good days and there are bad days, but I know that I am really getting better slowly.
We, the University of Florida Alpha Delta chapter of Alpha Kappa Delta Phi, say,
No more.
No more.
No more.
No more.
No more.
No more. No more.
no more to domestic violence and sexual assault.